record. So welcome to our team call. This is the second one of April. I cannot freaking believe that it's already the second one of April. So I am going to be going over just kind of like comparison. And I know we're all guilty of it in our fitness journeys, but also in our business journeys. We're always looking at like these top coaches and like, oh my gosh, we think we have to have this beautiful Instagram to start with, and we have to have all this amazing content and all these pages that look so phenomenal. And you're like, how in the fuck am I supposed to compare, right? You're like, why would somebody choose me, a baby coach, somebody who doesn't know what they're doing or doesn't have this pretty Instagram, or isn't sharing all these amazing things, instead of like Ashley Smith or Ashley Molstad or Allie Griffith or whoever that's a year, 2, 5 years down into this, and their page is all aesthetically beautiful and they've got all this amazing content and they're consistent and all that stuff. And so I'm going to kind of go over that and just kind of give y'all like a reality check that we all start somewhere. We all have to start by just posting. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen because we all know I have squirrel brain. And you know that. So don't compare your chapter 1 to somebody's chapter 12. And I say that because I am a year into this. And so many times I hear other coaches and even my coaches be like, well, your page looks so great. Or you know, I think I need this page to look like this and that. And you don't do anything because you're so fixated on it being perfect. And so I'm going to put myself under the microscope here and let you guys know that none of us start perfect. And especially me, somebody who starts with I had an amazing upline, tons of resources, but I didn't get any kind of one-on-one mentorship. I didn't get any kind of mentorship to say like, this is what you don't need to do. And so I had to fall on my face. A bagillion that's not even a number. Like that's how many times I had to fall on my face. Something I had to create a number for. So we're going to go over here. We all have to learn as we go. And I'm going to go over the different things that I teach you guys not to do. And the reason I teach you not to do them is because I did them and it failed. Right? And so you guys are getting the easier way around this is I am teaching you these things from experience of failing and them not working and teaching you guys this. So I want to use hashtags, for example. So I used hashtags just in the beginning of my business, just like you guys do. And I still use hashtags. I think people who don't use hashtags, it's a waste of space, right? Hashtags are free. Doesn't take any effort. You just hashtag. It does take some effort to find the hashtags, but they're free and they're extra exposure. People that might not originally find you. So if you look here, I copied and pasted the same hashtag. So we're going to move on. And you guys see, I'm still not perfect. We're still failing forward over here. So I'm just going to talk about what I had before. So before I used like hashtag Beachbody, hashtag 80-day obsession, hashtag fitness, hashtag fitness motivation, hashtag fitness journey, hashtag fit mom, fit spo, workout. And I'm going to tell you guys what's wrong with this. And so I always tell you guys, don't hashtag Beachbody, because the only people who are looking at Beachbody hashtags are other Beachbody coaches. And I tell you this because I grew my following with a shit ton of Beachbody coaches. And this is the reason why. We all don't want Beachbody coaches or Beachbody people. And I grew my following very soon with a lot of Beachbody people because I did this. And that's why I tell you guys not to do this. I used a lot of hashtags that had billions of people on there. And me, a baby coach with like 1,000 followers, was not a scab on any of those hashtags asses. Let me just put that out there. And that's what I teach you guys, is to do less people on the hashtag means optimal exposure, because I learned the hard way. And so here are what I would use now. And it's all like motivating, Monday wisdom, miracle morning, because I use the miracle morning a lot, Fitspire, Fit Mama, light weights. And you guys can see that none of these have anything to do with Beachbody, and they are all not fitness related. So I have a lot of motherhood ones because a big part of my brand is being a mom. And so if you can see it, and if you look up these hashtags, you'll see less people viewing them. And that means optimal exposure. And it's just all about learning as you go. But y'all, just because I used hashtag Beachbody and stuff did not mean I was not doing it. I was doing it wrong, but I was learning as I was going. I was being coachable, and I was always plugging into trainings, which we will talk a little bit more about. All right, we all learn as we go, and I'm telling you guys this. This was my before. Do you see? It was a video. I had to screenshot it. But like, do you see how dull and just, everybody said use the same filter, and I'll go over that, but I used the wrong one. But here I am saying, I can't believe I just wrapped up phase 1 of 80-Day Obsession. My followers could be like, what the fuck? Like, now, hindsight, I can look back and say like, okay, so what, my followers aren't going to know what 80-Day Obsession was, or even what a phase is. Like, a phase of what? Like, a phase of the moon? And I am beyond proud of myself and everyone else that has stuck this through 100%. This program was not easy, blah, 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 blah. But I'm just basically talking about, this program and how it's not easy. I'm not providing any value to my followers. But you know what? I put a post up there. I was focusing on being consistent. That is what we have to do as new coaches. And I don't care, it might not have been aesthetically pleasing, but we all have to start somewhere. So 6 months into this, it's not that pretty, but it's a video with a side picture. I got some sunlight in there. I'm doing my thing. And I'm talking about, if your gym doesn't move outside with you, I feel bad for you. Like, I'm talking about how this virtual gym, I'm not name dropping anymore. So you can see how I grew from the first post, the first 6 months. I didn't name drop. I'm talking about my virtual gym. I'm talking about what it can provide and how it helps me, stay consistent and not be stuck inside. And then I also give them the option of joining me with the Your Choice thing. And then a year later, I am talking about my strength did not come from lifting weights. My strength came from lifting myself up when I was knocked down. And I am providing some motivation. They are all sweaty selfies. They are all different parts of my journey, and it all shows how you grow as a coach. But like I say, and the point of this is we all have to start somewhere. Even I started somewhere with very dungy looking photos that I would scroll past. Even I would scroll past this. And so it's all about just kind of celebrating where you're at now, but always being coachable and learning and growing. And that's what we're going to kind of get into. And here's kind of photo grids. And it's like, we all have to start somewhere. So here's my first photo grid. And if any of you coaches, a lot of my coaches that have been around for a while, I tell you multiple things to do. 1, do not drop products. Well, here we go. 80-Day Obsession Plan E. Going ahead and dropping that there so people can go Google it and buy that shit online. Don't take ugly pictures of food. Well, there we go. That is the ugliest shit I've ever seen. Because I tell you all of this because I've learned from that, and we all have to do it. And so if you have ugly pictures of food on your page, or you're name dropping every single program out there, just know that you still can be a successful coach. You're just going to grow with that. Also, being aesthetically pleasing, we noticed I did stay consistent with the filter I used. Might have been an ugly one, but I did stay consistent. So kudos to me there. But it's all about just kind of growing and loving the place in the life you are. I always say you've got to focus on what you can focus on there. If we try to focus on everything at once, we're going to be so freaking overwhelmed. So that is 1 month into coaching. 3 months into coaching, it's looking prettier. Right? We're having some colors. It's pink and blues. It's still, I've got a lot of, this is my biggest pet peeve now. And obviously I did it a lot, where it's like side by sides or above each other. Oh my gosh, that freaking drives me insane. And then, just see why, because I did it so much, I got sick of it. We all know how I am about that. But you see, it's growing with me. It's not filtered. There's no fancy filters. And I had retired myself with having this Instagram. So if you think you have to have this perfect and pretty and gorgeous and completely curated Instagram to be able to retire yourself or to be successful in this coaching business, you don't. There's proof. There was my retired me picture. And then 6 months into this, I had started using a preset, and I started getting my filter thing, and it started coming together. It was still a little bit all over the place, but I was learning about presets. This is right when I started using a preset. This was about September. And then here, 1 year later, we are using the exact same preset. Let me preface that. This preset and this preset's the exact same way. My editing style with that preset just changed to make it more cohesive. And you see, 2 years from now, guess what? It's probably going to look different. And then 3 years from now, it's probably going to look different. Don't be so fixated on, I have to have the perfect Instagram right now. So many of my coaches message me and they're like, Allie, can you take a look at my Instagram? Like, I'm trying to make sure it's all completely perfect. Like, you're going to keep it that way forever. I promise you, your style is going to change like the freaking weather. It's going to change consistently. The more you grow and the more you evolve into the coach that you're supposed to be, it's going to change. And it's all about just making strides and learning as you go and how to make it better. If you guys can see here, I did a bunch of quotes. And now my biggest pet peeve is people who use quotes on their Instagram. Some people do and it looks pretty. Me, I kind of think it's lazy. So I'll use quotes on my captions, but I don't use quotes on my photos anymore. It's a personal choice. And so you won't see any more quotes anymore. You don't see any more side by sides on top of each other, because that's, again, my biggest pet peeve ever, because I just think it looks ugly. But I did it at once, and I had to learn and I had to grow. And as I became more comfortable in coaching, and as you become more comfortable in coaching, you are going to see your style change. Like, completely. But you can't be focused on having the most beautiful Instagram the beginning of your journey. It's just impossible. There's so much other shit that you need to focus on, so much other crap that you need to focus on. Having a beautifully aesthetic is like low on the list until you start managing the other things, and we'll go over that. So I also wanted to talk a little bit about, like, the far away versus, I always say you want to have like different angles and different stuff like that. But y'all, you see here at the beginning, I didn't have that shit. No, like, we don't have these things. It's stuff that you learn into and the stuff that you grow into. And I say all this because you have the chance, you have the opportunity to not have to make the same mistakes that I did. But if you do, it's okay. But you know, I drill into y'all's heads all the time, you know, about Instagram and all these things. So it's easier for you guys because you have somebody that does that. When I first started, Facebook was still relevant. And so that people didn't teach me Instagram. People didn't teach me how to do hashtags or how to do all this. And so using your resources is huge on not making the same mistakes, but if you do, knowing that it's okay. All right, we all have to start somewhere. So I want to talk about the 5 things that I think as a brand new coach that you need to focus on. And these are the only 5 things that you need to focus on right now. And each one individually kind of coincides with the others. And a lot of you guys, if you didn't start as like if you started as my challenger, like you started in my boot camp and then you graduated to coaching, you might already have some of these as a habit. But the first thing is focus on your journey. You cannot and will not be a successful coach if you are not always first focused on you. You have to focus on you to be able to focus on anybody else. So focusing on your journey and showing up in your journey, in your fitness, nutrition, all the aspects of your journey. 2, focus on posting consistently. I don't care what you post, but you need to get in the habit of posting consistently. You know, like, just know that you need to post consistently. Right now, it doesn't matter what you need to post, who you need to post, how you need to post, what filter, what anything. Just get in the habit of posting once a day, once to twice a day. I recommend twice a day on your Instagram feed, and then in your stories 10 times. Once you become that, you need to make that a habit, because you need to make that to where it's effortless. And that is where the consistency plays into. 3, focus on your PD. Y'all, I cannot tell you, and if you were on last week's team call, you know And we all know how important PD is, and that's personal development. So what book are you reading right now? Are you focused on that? Are you reading it to check off the box that says you read it because it's one of our vital behaviors? Or are you actually reading it, absorbing it, and putting it into your life? It's one thing to read it, it's another thing to absorb it, or listen to it, it's another thing to absorb it. So you need to make sure that you are picking a book that has to do with your life and has to do with being able to, make you a better person, not just because everybody's reading it, so everybody's reading it, it's going to matter to me. That's bullshit. You got to find something that resonates with you. Focus on inviting people to join you. Don't put the pressure on how do I invite or who do I invite or anyone. Invite anybody and everybody. Y'all, my invites when I first started were bad. Like not even just bad, like bad. But you know what? It's all about learning as you go. And it's all about just doing it. Like we have to spend less time thinking, am I doing this wrong? Am I fucking this up? Am I, doing something like, can I do this or can I do that? It's just doing it. And once you do it and keep on doing it, y'all, that is what the magic happens, is when you're consistent in this. And then 5, focus on expanding your network, meaning starting to follow people and messaging those people. I always say, the 3-2-1 rule. So go and follow people, go to one page, like 3 of their photos, comment on 2 of them and send them a message and follow them, and do that along the board. And then you can also just follow people. And if you don't know how to find people to follow, if you don't know how to follow people or how to expand your network, go into our coach files section. Yeah. And then there's all the past calls, and I did an entire call on expanding your network. So these are the 5 things. And if you can see, they're basically the vital behaviors. Our 4 vital behaviors is being proof the product works. And that means focusing on your journey, doing PD, there's that PD right there, inviting right there, and then celebrating and recognizing people. You're just going to do that as you're growing your network. That one's kind of hard to do at the beginning, but you can also celebrate people in our boot camp, even if they're not your clients. So once you master that, right, these 5 things are not going to be like oh my gosh, 1 week. These 5 things are going to take you a while to get down. They might take you a month to 2 months to 3 months because you can't focus on all 5 things at once. Pick one thing. So say this week, you know what, I'm going to focus on just inviting, or I'm going to focus on being consistent, like showing up consistently. So that means you put all of your energy into focusing on showing up consistently. Once you feel like that's become a habit, meaning you're doing that without even having to think about it, then you can move on to the next thing. So maybe you're going to focus on inviting. Then you're going to invite your rear end off until you make that become a habit. Your journey is always there. So you've got to make sure you master your journey before you do any of this. Because if you try to do too many things at once, the first thing that's going to go is you. I'm telling you first. The first thing that you're going to put on the back burner, because we have done it our entire freaking life and we're wired to do that, is we're going to put ourselves on the back burner. So if we're feeling overwhelmed, if we're feeling stressed, if we're feeling any types of things, we are the ones that put ourselves on the back burner first. So once the basics become a habit, meaning you are doing all these things like in your sleep, it's time to add on more. And these are the 10 things that once you feel like you've mastered those, I say you need to focus on, and I'll go a little in depth with these. So of course it's your journey. So if you can see, we're just adding on, because those first 5 things are never going to go away. Those are the core values of what we do. So if you ever find that you're slipping away and you're doing too many things, go back to those first 5. So the first, focus on your journey again. Focus on posting consistently. Focus on your PD. Focus on inviting people to join you. Focus on your expanding your network. Now we're going to add another thing. Focus on your 5 things that make you you, because you're going to get so sick of hearing this. I know, but I say it all the time religiously. You have to be more than Beachbody. And that's where our 5 things come in. So what are the 5 things that make Carla or Lindsay or, Trista Chista, what are those 5 things that make you you? They don't have to be fitness related, but they have to be all different. Me, I am into fitness. I am a toddler mama. I love me a good ass margarita. I cuss like a sailor. I love Dunkin'. Those are my 5 things. You see, they all aren't like things I like to do, but they're all just things that make Allie. Y'all, and every single person can at least name 3 out of my 5 things right off their head, because I show them consistently. When people think of Allie, they think of Dunkin' already, because I get so many freaking gifts and shit in the mail, or I get so many tags on little, that Dunkin' hoodie that went away that this girl runs on Dunkin'. It would run around on an ad. I got tagged in that thing so many times. I should have just bought it. Or margaritas and stuff like that. And if you come up here, I'll go over that in a second. Hold on. So the 5 things that make you you. And then you want to work on showing those consistently. So if you come up here, you're going to see right here, I love me some Dunkin'. Here is Mama with a margarita. So, just already putting that hot mess mom out there. Also margarita. So just because I like to drink. Mom. So that's Dunkin', margarita, mom, fitness. And you can't really see. I'm sure if you read those captions, there is a shit ton of cuss words. So there's my 5 things. I made sure I showed all 5 things right there. But y'all, I haven't done this in the beginning. So if you look at your page and you're like, oh my God, I don't even know what my 5 things are. Oh my God, I don't even, I don't share any of that. Don't worry, because I didn't either. No one does at the beginning. You have to grow into making it consistent. If you see here at the beginning, I tell you guys, you have to be more than fitness. Well, fitness. Ooh, there's some nutrition, and there's a wife and a mom. But 99.9% of that was fitness. We all make mistakes. We all do, the things that we don't think we're doing. Here we go. I'm growing a little bit. There's mom, fitness, drinking. But that's about it. And then, here we go, is where I get into my 5 things. So you have to just know and give yourself grace, but start being cautious about that once you've mastered the first 5. Then number 7, focus on your grid. So this is where the aesthetically pleasing comes into play. Once you've mastered all of those 5 things and you're unlocking these next 5 things, that's where it starts mastering. And so that means you're going to focus on the grid. When I talk about your grid, it is this part. It's the part when people see when they come to see your page. And so if you see here, I do a preset. So I use when I say preset, it's called Lightroom preset. So it's something I purchased, and there's free ones out there too, but I purchased mine. That helps make your page cohesive without effort, without much effort of editing photos. And so that's what I do here. And I make sure I take similar backgrounds. So my colors are blues and just bright and crisp. So you can see it's blue, bluish green. There's tons of bluish greens and browns. So it's all kind of that color scheme. And I've kind of kept that throughout because of my room color. I have to keep blue. So blues and pinks. And this is not when I use the Lightroom preset, but that's how I make mine aesthetically pleasing. But y'all, YouTube, Google, I don't know what else helps train you that. YouTube, basically. YouTube has been my saving grace on how to edit photos, how to capture, how to make my Instagram. Literally, if you go to YouTube and type in, how do I make my Instagram pretty? Shit ton of stuff's going to come up on how to make your Instagram pretty once you're ready to dive into that and develop that. All right, focus on being a storyteller. So that comes up to this thing. Whenever I am talking about being a storyteller, I am talking about sharing your life, not just posting to post. So if you can see here at the beginning, I just posted this to post. I knew I needed to get a post up. I didn't really put much effort into my caption. I just kind of put it up to not have to stress about it. And so once you've mastered the consistency of posting and that's become a habit, then you really need to dive deep into what you're saying, because the photo is going to capture their eyes, but the caption is going to capture their heart. And so if you can see here is when I become more of a storyteller. And I put, so many of you amazing ladies see my highlight reel and then, damn, I wish I could be her, or I wish I could be you. I wish so much that you saw the strength that you could know exactly what it took to get here. It took countless days of crying because I didn't think I could do it. It took countless times of catching myself mid-binge and stopping. It took me breaking up with the demons I had inside. It took me getting the fuck off the scale and addiction. It took me getting knocked down 10 times and getting up 11. So I'm sitting here and telling them a story. I'm capturing their heart so they can connect with me. And that is what I mean about being a storyteller. It means getting really vulnerable with yourself and giving value to those that need to hear your story to connect with you. If we post just posts where we're just, saying, okay, I finished my workout, check, or, here's a selfie just because I need to post something, it doesn't really get them any sense of who we are or any sense of relation. And in the beginning, it's fine to just do that, to get in that habit. But once you're in that habit, you can't stay there. You've got to continuously grow as a person, and then you'll grow into that storyteller mode. And that is where the real money happens. And then focus on posing. When I say posing, it means not all of them the same way. So if you see here, I have a bunch of workout. That one's not even a good explanation, but here I have all sweaty selfies. I'm all standing up the same way. And then I've got posts like that. So here I'm standing in different ways. So I'm standing sideways. I've got an up close one here, a selfie here, a picture of my child. They all look different. If you have all pictures like this, at one point I did, then you're going to want to focus on changing your posts. And you see here's another different sweaty selfie. It's adding dimension to your page. They're both sweaty selfies. They're just both posed differently. And so it made my page look more aesthetically pleasing, and I could talk about something different. And so once you start doing that, Google how to pose, how to make better poses on Instagram, or dive deeper and just start thinking about it more. And then number 10, focus on curiosity marketing. Curiosity marketing is so important, and it probably should be one of the 5, but I couldn't put too many on the 5. Curiosity marketing is basically just talking about your journey, talking about what you're doing, but not name dropping anything. And I did an entire slide. I did an entire part on curiosity marketing in my Instagram trainings. So I won't go too in depth with it, but curiosity marketing is basically having I can't see it. I don't have any up here. Like having your energizer energize and then turning the label around so they can't see it and calling it something different, like my mama crack. Nobody knows what that mama crack is. So they're continuously Googling, or not Googling, but emailing me so they don't Google it. If they saw the label and saw that it was energized, they're just going to go Google it. Same thing with Shakeology, calling it your superfoods. Don't show the box. Don't show the container. That way they have to ask you, and they don't go Google it and go buy it off of, eBay or Google or Amazon or whatever the case may be. And so that's all about curiosity marketing. It's all about just leaving them curious about what it is that you're doing and curious about what it is that they can join doing for. So here's one of my favorite things, and I kind of want to bring it into that, is if you throw a pebble into a pond, you'll make a tiny splash. Meaning, if you try to do all the things, right? All the things at one time, meaning you're going to try to make your page pretty. You're going to try to stay consistent. You're going to try to stay consistent in your journey. You're going to try to inviting. You're going to try to do this, and that, and this. You are just going to make little splashes. That means you are just going to make little movements into the person that you're supposed to be. But if you throw a boulder into a pond, you'll make waves. Meaning that if you put all of your energy into one thing, choose one of the 5 things, put all your energy into, you're going to make waves. You're going to make so much more progress than as if you were trying to focus on all these little things. Rachel Hollis says this, and I am a firm believer in you cannot focus on everything at one time, because then you're going to give your half-assed energy into everything and never make any progress, or you're going to end up quitting and getting overwhelmed. That is the one thing that I hear from a lot of new coaches is they get overwhelmed super, super easy. And I'm like, so what are you doing? They're like, well, I'm getting a training here and I'm getting a training there and I'm getting this here and I'm getting that here. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And yes, in this company, there is no lack of resources, correct. But you are focusing on trying to do way too many things at once. You're focusing on trying to implement every team call. You're focused on trying to be on every call, or you're focused on trying to, do everything or do this and do that. You have got to just focus on you and then focus on one thing at a time. And one of those 5 things, I'm telling you, that is what's going to make you successful and not help you get burnt out. I've learned this the hard way. I've got burnt out. I've almost quit so many times because I literally felt so overwhelmed. And when I just kind of broke it down and just like, you know what? I'm going to put my blinders on. I'm going to stop looking around and I'm just going to do me, and I'm going to grow into the person I need to be. That is how you make waves, is doing those little things and making big motion into those single things. And I want to talk a little bit about the overwhelmed. So when you are feeling overwhelmed, what do, right? We shut down. A lot of us shut down. We're all like, you know what? There's so much going on. I'm just going to do nothing. That is the worst thing you could do. When you feel overwhelmed, you've got to take a step back. You've got to say, okay, what are my core values? Meaning showing up for your journey, showing up consistently, inviting, and that's it. Those are your core values. You need to just, anytime you feel overwhelmed, go ooh, gosh, you guys see how ghetto that is, sorry. Go straight back to those 3 things. There is a lot in this business. You can do a lot of things. But if you try to make silly graphics or focus on your page being gorgeous right now, or you're focused on, doing this team page and you want to make a team name and you want to create trainings and you want to do this and you want to host your own team calls, you are going to quit. You've got to focus on your core values and get those as a habit and grow from there. I can tell you, I have only been running my own team calls since October, September, I can't remember, something like that. 6 months into me as a coach. But the first 6 months was just me focusing on my social media and focusing on me showing up consistently. So do that. I started running my first challenge group this year, like by myself. So if you aren't doing it by yourself right now, don't worry. You shouldn't be. It is way too much right now. Group up with people. Y'all, it's all about focusing on what you can do and accepting the place in your journey you're at, but always being coachable. So you can't get comfortable, if that makes sense. Like, it's okay to start here, but what if I had gotten comfortable, right? If I'd gotten comfortable, I wouldn't have kept being coachable or kept listening or kept learning. I would have never evolved into this person that I'm supposed to be right here. I would still be here, and I probably would still be an Emerald coach. And so you have to focus on being coachable. So that means learning as you go and implementing as you go when you're ready to do so. The same thing here. What if I had gotten comfortable doing this? I probably would still be in the same place I was if I wouldn't have evolved into this person who was inviting and then this person who's storytelling. And so you have to be coachable, meaning you still have to be furthering your education with coaching. You can't be stagnant. So it's one thing to become a habit. It's one thing to get comfortable. So once you make a habit, move on, add on to it. But once you become a habit, if you stay right there in the habit, that is comfort. We can't stay right there. So I think that is all. So I'm going to stop my share and see if you have any questions. I've got a bunch of sleeping babies. Sarah, you haven't had a choice. You went to school with me. What if you already have a business that you started branding on Instagram? So if you already have a business that you started branding on Instagram, I would look into, I wouldn't think much about it because one, you, if your following wasn't big right then, so it doesn't matter. But two, all the people you're going to grow into aren't going to know that brand. So I would still do a coming out post into the new person that you're going to be and be completely vulnerable on why you're choosing this journey and why you are switching into this person that you're going to be, or why you're evolving into this person. And just know that the ones who love you, the ones who trust you are going to go with you. And believe you, there's tons of people that have multiple brands. I know Trista is a good one. She does her t-shirt business and she's into the monogramming, but now she still loves that. She still does that, but she's also wanting to add that fitness element. And so it's all about just kind of learning how to intermingle the two. But if you're not trying to intermingle them, then it's all about just owning where you're going in your journey and knowing that nobody's judging you for switching. And all the people that you're joining now or inviting to join you now are not going to know who you were before unless they go scrolling and creeping. And a lot of people do that. Me, if you scroll on my page, I did Weight Watchers. I branded myself as this Weight Watchers person that shared all her food. Then I went to Beachbody. And I did my coming out post as a Beachbody coach, but I didn't think, well, all these people are following me for Weight Watchers. I've actually signed up several people for that followed me for my food inspiration, which y'all know me. I don't know why anybody followed me for food inspiration. Don't go back and look. It's not pretty. But they joined me because they'd followed me then and they saw their struggles. So just own where you're at and where you're going. I'm proud of myself. I raced out. I got ghosted, but we had a combo at first. Oh, I feel like I didn't hurt as bad. Yay! I'm so proud of you, Michelle, for reaching out. That's the hardest part, y'all. The hardest part is getting out of your head. The hardest part is getting out of your head to get out of your way. And reaching out and getting ghosted is part of it. Y'all, I get ghosted every single day. And if you are not getting ghosted, you're not doing your job. It is practically our job to get ghosted, because if you're not reaching out to enough people. And you can't take that personally. You've just got to love them and release them and know that everybody's going to come around. I'm a firm freaking believer in every no is going to be a yes eventually. It might not be to me, but it's going to be to somebody, because we have something for everybody. Beachbody is the solution for everybody. I believe that in my heart of hearts. Even if they love the gym, we have nutrition products. Even if they can't work out, we have the nutrition. Even if they have low impact, we have PYO, we have yoga. Even if they, anything. If they have the food, we have 2B mindset. If they need portion, we have everything. So you just have to believe in the products and believe that every no is going to be a yes, and just get used to being no. I always assume first off that everybody's going to say no. And then if somebody says yes, I'm like, oh shit, really? You're saying yes? Okay, let's talk then. I'm shocked when somebody says yes, not when somebody says no. Read this chapter today. Oh yes, I think that's why I added it in there, because I read that chapter today too. We're talking about the pebble and the pond analogy is from Girl Stop Apologizing. So if you read that, then you'll hear that, because I love that. 1 journey, 2 consistent, 3 PD, 4 inviting, 5. I missed it. Did you catch it, Sarah?
No, I didn't. You were scrolling too fast.
Or you're just writing too slow?
Stop it.
Focus on expanding.
Expanding. Yeah, that's it. Got it.
You're fine. Hi, no, baby. I'm so ready for this. I'm nervous though. It's okay to be nervous. You should be nervous. If you weren't nervous, you're not ready. Like, I am a firm believer in those nerves, those like tingles. It's kind of like the first day of school, right, y'all? Like that first day of school, you were so freaking nervous. Like, remember that first day of high school where you're like, oh my gosh, I have to wear the perfect outfit. My hair has to be perfect. My makeup. Like, I am so nervous. What if I don't have class with anybody I like? Where am I going to sit at lunch? You're so freaking nervous. But then by like 1 month in, you're out walking in like you own the place. And so you've got to be nervous, but guess what? You've got to do it. It's the same thing with being a baby and trying to step. You're nervous about trying to walk. I mean, I'm sure babies are nervous. You're nervous about trying to walk, and you've got to keep failing and keep failing and keep failing until you eventually walk. You can't be nervous and scared of the failure. You have to embrace it and just know that it's going to be part of your journey. So make a business Instagram or just use the one we already have. Probably already answered this, but no, I hadn't answered it, Brittany. I always just I made my Instagram was personal and I just changed it to a business Instagram. But I kept the same Instagram because I don't believe in starting fresh. Like, I think that is a super, super, super bad thing. And a lot of people disagree with me, but the fear of trying to start over from 0 followers and 0 interactions and nobody knowing who I am scares the crap out of me. I'd rather have people unfollow me because they don't want to watch my journey or think I'm spamming them than to have to start off from fresh. And those people that are already following you are your friends and family. So I always just switch it to a business Instagram and start changing the way you're posting. And that'll do with your coming out post. Thank you for the image. Makes me feel good to know it takes a little bit of time to get it all done. I know, Sheree. I know you're one of the ones that you're like, I feel like I need to do it all right now. And it's so, so easy to get confused with that. But I am so happy that helped you. You want to be able to reach more markets. So keep your things. I changed but kept on perfect. I had gone back and forth so many times in the last 24 hours questioning if I can do this. I'm trying so hard to believe I'll be successful. Okay, CJ, you can't question if you can do this or not. You just have to do it. Like, I know that sounds so bad, but you're gonna be like scared, right? You're gonna be scared crapless and you're going to not know what you're doing. But if you question whether you're going to do this or not, and you give yourself that option on, oh my gosh, am I gonna do this or not? You're not gonna do this. You have to make it kind of a non-negotiable. You have to make it to where, like, you know what? I'm scared. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna learn as I go. And you're going to fall on your face, and then you're going to get back up, and you're going to fall on your face again. I probably got permanent scars on my face from falling, but I kept getting back up, and now I'm leading a call with 21 of you guys, and I'm like, oh my God. So and I still don't know what I'm doing. My PowerPoint was messed up. You know what? We're just rolling with it. We never fully know what we're doing. We never fully believe what we're doing is right. We're just kind of doing it. And we're figuring it out as we go. And if it didn't work, we're reassessing and moving on. That's the best thing about this is you're never going to stay stagnant. Meaning you're never going to just keep doing the exact same thing because something's not going to work. So you're going to be sending an invite. It's going to be working a ton. And then guess what? It's not going to work anymore. Then you're going to have to readjust. And that's the place where coachable comes in. You've got to be coachable and you've got to be able to make those tough assessments to know that, okay, what I'm doing is not working. I need to go find something that does. You can't stay in that place of insanity where, you expect to do the exact same thing over and over and over again and expect a different result. Meaning you can't keep doing the same thing that wasn't working and expect a different result. I am so new to this second weekend. I'm so nervous to reach out for the simple fact of that people will think of me. Okay, and that's another thing. You've just got to get out of your own head. Tons and tons and tons of coaches on here are brand new baby coaches. And I know how hard it is to get out of your own head and think what people are thinking of you, but you've also got to think what you think of yourself. Do you believe in what do you believe in this opportunity? Do you believe in the products? Do you believe in yourself? The other people's opinions of you are none of your damn business. They can unfollow you and move on. None of your damn business. So you've got to just keep getting more, and that's where your PD is going to come in. Y'all, I no longer reach out to somebody and think, oh my God, what if they think I'm an idiot? Well, they'll unfollow me. Or if they don't unfollow me, then they're going to block me and then we're going to move on. I know they're not my tribe. Every single unfollow, every single block, every single FU is a step closer to finding your tribe. Y'all don't know how many haters I get in my inbox on a daily basis. Even when I shared that vulnerable post the other day about my depression, you know what? People were in my inbox calling me a liar and a hypocrite and saying that I don't know what depression is. Guess what I said? Hi. Sit on and spin, like moving on. Like we can't get so fixated and I'm trying to tell one of my friends this, somebody that, it's a long story, but like I was trying to tell somebody that was a friend or work, it's again, long story, but like you can't be so fixated on like me. I am a very boisterous, very outgoing person. If I walked into a room and I'm at a party and I cannot be completely fixated on what I'm saying is offending somebody. Meaning, like, if I'm talking or I'm having a good time and I offend somebody, like, it's none of my business. If they get offended, they won't be my friend. But like, if we're completely fixated on, like, oh my gosh, is this what I'm saying going to offend somebody? Or oh my gosh, is this what I'm going to do is going to hurt somebody's feelings? Or like, people are going to get offended over everything. But you can't change who you are or what you do. You're just going to find the people you are meant to be. You know, I say the word fuck way too many times. I probably will never be on a national wake-up call because I don't know if I'll be able to not say the word fuck. And that's okay. It'll offend some people. It offends people daily. But that means they're not my people. So overwhelming. I'm a nurse and will keep my job, but think this could be a good side thing because of Alyssa. I've lost 15 pounds and I'm really believing in the process. It's hard for me to convince others, especially after I mentioned price. Stop thinking about convincing people. Like, we are so, and I love you guys. And I always say this because I always give tough love, but I always like to start it with how much I love you guys. I love you guys so much, but we cannot be fixated on convincing people. That's salesy. Our job is not to convince people that what we have is worth the money. Our job is to show them the value and let them think, damn, that's it. Our job is to show the value, not to convince people. So if you are having to convince people of why you have is what they need, then you're not showing the value well enough. And that's something that you just need to think about. And this is a great side hustle. Every single person on this call, except for me, does this part-time. It's doable. But you've got to focus on sharing the journey, sharing the value of it, and you have to believe in it. If you do not believe in Shakeology, you're not going to be successful. If you do not believe in the workouts, you're not going to be successful. If you do not believe in the process, you're not going to be successful. So you have to believe in this so full-heartedly, because then you're not going to think, well, am I convincing this person? You're just going to speak from your heart. I still get price objections all the time. But I know that's that limiting beliefs that they have, and that means I just have not showed the value enough to them. And maybe it's just going to take some time for me to show that value. But it's all about showing the value and nothing about convincing them. So don't feel overwhelmed. Take a deep breath and think how much you believe in the product and how you're explaining the value to them. Okay, so I think that's all the questions. Anyone have any other questions? You can unmute yourself really quick. We have a couple minutes. Nobody? Okay, no questions. Awesome. Well, then I'm going to let y'all scoot. If you want, you can turn your camera on so I can get a picture real quick. If not, let's get it. All right, let's take it. Oh, let me